Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, 3 years after it first emerged, Me Too appears to have arrived in Iran, with the highly conservative Muslim country facing a tidal wave of accusations on social media about sexual abuse. And just how hard is it to be a female stand-up comic in a world which is still very much dominated by men? We'll be talking to American comedian Sarah Donnelly, who's now based in Paris. And we meet the Lionesses of Kenya, an all-female ranger unit working hard to protect the country's wildlife from poachers. But we begin in Iran, where a Me Too movement is possibly emerging for the very first time. In recent weeks, both Iranian women and men have been using social media to speak out against those who've committed acts of sexual violence. And the police are encouraging victims to press charges, as Marius Sofa reports.
The silence has begun to lift in Iran. For several days, victims of sexual assault have been using their social media accounts to speak about their experiences. The first revelations were all in connection to one man who has been accused of rape by 20 women. Then more accusations followed against known writers, professors and other public figures. The movement is slowly breaking ground in Iran, with arrests already made by the police.
تشخیصش یه مقدار سخته، اینکه ببینیم آدما واقعا دارن درست میگن یا غلط میگن، به خاطر اینکه یه سری‌ها دارن از این موج استفاده میکنن. ولی گفتن این موضوع اتفاق خوبیه، برای اینکه بشه به هر حال جامعه رو یه جوری معطوفش کرد به اتفاقاتی که داره میفته و سال‌هاست همینجور پنهان مونده.
The majority of the accusations date back more than 10 years. Many are anonymous. Supporters of the burgeoning movement are blaming Iranian society for being complicit in sexual abuse.
به نظر من این موج باید خیلی زودتر اتفاق میافتاد و صحبت کردن و این علنی شدن این موضوعا به نظرم خیلی اتفاق بزرگیه.
Though the Me Too movement has begun to emerge in Iran, where it's known in Farsi as #Manham, the road ahead is sure to be a long one. Rape culture remains a taboo subject here, and victims lack the support they need and often experience feelings of shame and guilt. It's difficult for women to recount what they went through in a country where they're subjected to much discrimination. But for the first time, victims seem to have been taken seriously, and the police are encouraging them to press charges. For its part, the government has called on the judiciary to take action in the face of sexual violence.
Now, in recent months, America and the rest of the world, for that matter, has been enthralled by a comedian who also happens to be a woman. Sarah Cooper has become a viral hit thanks to her political satire videos on TikTok impersonating US President Donald Trump. Let's take a look.
Actually, I had a mask on. I sort of liked the way I looked. Okay, I thought it was okay. It was a dark black mask, and I thought it looked okay. It looked like the Lone Ranger. But no, I have no problem with that. I think, and if people feel good about it, they should do it.
But as any woman in comedy will tell you, being a female comedian is indeed a tough gig. And joining me in the studio is another Sarah, who also happens to be a comedian, but based here in Paris. Sarah Donnelly does stand-up. She's also an improviser and writer. Originally from Washington, D.C. She does her best, she says, to see if the French can take a joke. Sarah, thank you so much for your time. Big question there. So can the French take a joke?
You know, they can. Well, at least they like when Americans and Anglophones make fun of them. But I love the French. You know, my husband's French. I have French kids. So I can make fun of them because I am one of them. Yeah. And I'm technically French now. Ooh. I'm a French citizen.
Okay, well, congratulations for that. Well, let's just take a look at a clip from one of your stand-up routines, who's about none other than the French First Lady, Brigitte Macron.
She's like Barack Obama. She gives me hope. She gives me hope. She gives me hope that you can be in your 40s, have 3 kids, and still seduce a younger man. Yes, Brigitte! I just need 2 more kids and I can make someone president. So I am ready, okay? I am ready to birth the next president.
But one thing about Sarah Cooper is the fact that she became a global viral hit. And I want to know, as a female comedian, has the internet made it easier for female stand-up comics like yourself to find audiences?
I definitely think so. I think traditionally stand-up was seen for the boys club, by the boys club. And we're seeing that's just not the case. Look at Sarah Cooper, look at Netflix. You have pregnancy specials, Ali Wong, Amy Schumer. Women are making content for women, or not, but it's resonating more broadly, I think.
And of course, one thing about the environment of those nightclubs is it's always late in the night, it's dark, it's sort of, you know, there's something slightly seedy about it all.
Always seedy. Never not seedy.
And have you, as a result, ever had unpleasant experiences, you know, where you've faced either harassment or abuse based on your agenda?
Well, sure. I mean, when I first started in comedy, I was so excited. You know, I've always loved stand-up. I was excited to be at the clubs, at the open mics, started at the open mics. And I was meeting all these other comics. I'm like, do you want to write? And I found out quickly some of these other male comedians were not interested in helping me develop as a performer, but just interested in getting into my pants. So,
well, so what did you do?
I rejected their advances, which didn't usually go very well. But I think you just seek out, like any woman who's in a field dominated by men, you just seek out other women and you say, how can we help each other out? Let's get together and write. Let's make our projects. Let's go forward.
Obviously, here in Paris, it's a niche audience, an English-speaking female stand-up comedian. But do you see or do you feel that there is a shift as a result and there are more women entering the field?
Since I started doing stand-up, definitely I'm seeing more women because we see ourselves being represented more, as I mentioned before. On Netflix, you're seeing tons of female artists getting their own comedy specials in all these different seasons of life, which is really, really cool. And I know for me, I did a 1-hour show when I was pregnant with my first, and then Ali Wong came out with her special like a week later. I'm like, this is great. This is what we need to see. Women just in different stages of life, still doing their jobs and doing a great job.
But do you think men struggle to find women funny?
I think that's their own problem. Like, if you don't understand what funny is, if you see a woman, you're like, is she funny? That's on you. Like, the comedy is comedy. And if you can make someone laugh and the joke is good, your gender shouldn't play into it. So
people like Ali Wong have been amazing because they've just smashed cultural barriers when they talk about pregnancy and, you know, periods and menstruation and the reality of being a woman. Yeah. How much of that sort of material do you tend to use?
I wrote a whole show about having a baby, and I do try to get that into my material because I am a woman, and these are the things I want to talk about. Like, I'm still a breastfeeding mom. I want to talk about that on stage. My writing partner and I, Amber Minogue, when we would do open mics together, that was not necessarily our audience, people not coming to see our show, but a mix of French people, young people, expats. And we would start doing these pregnancy jokes, and you could see them kind of be like, what? But we would get everyone on board eventually. I mean, everyone has a mother, so there's one common denominator here.
Now, since you arrived in France some 8 years ago, you've given birth to 2 beautiful daughters. Now, if they turn around to you 20 years from now and say, Mum, I want to be a stand-up comic, what would you tell them?
Don't do it! No! Get a real job! One that makes money, please. No, I think my parents had always told me and my sister, you know, do whatever you want to do, you know, but you have to work hard for it. And I would say, okay, honey, it's going to be hard. There's a long road ahead. And yeah, sexism is ever present in any career, but especially in these male-dominated fields. But I'll support you.
Sarah Donnelly, it's been great speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, Brazil has adopted an equal pay policy for both female and male football players. It will allow the country's lesser-known women players in the national team to receive the same compensation and prize money as international sporting stars such as Neymar. Now, while the men's team is known for having won the World Cup a record 5 times, the lesser-known women's team is also one of the best in the game with a World Cup final appearance in 2007. And finally, for centuries, taking on poachers in Kenya was very much seen as a man's job. But a group of Maasai women have changed that. Known as Team Lioness, they are community-based rangers working to protect the country's wildlife. Erin Agonki has the story.
They're the new queens of the Kenyan savannah. And though they're armed solely with notebooks, a GPS, cell phones, and binoculars, they're tasked with protecting community lands in this national park from its most dangerous predators, poachers. Created in 2017 by the International Fund for Animal Welfare, Team Lioness, composed of 8 ethnic Maasai women, is Kenya's first all-female anti-poaching unit.
In the community, our work as women was just to give birth, do house chores, take care of the babies, fetch firewood, milking the cows. So when they see us doing this job, they don't believe that we can make it. They thought that this is only meant for men.
The rangers, between the ages of 17 and 26, all have secondary education and are the first women in their families to hold formal jobs. Maasai cultural practices, including female genital mutilation and early marriages, often force Maasai women to drop out of school and forego employment opportunities. The COVID-19 pandemic has only added to the list of challenges these female rangers must confront. Travel restrictions have shut down the country's tourism industry, which makes up nearly 10% of Kenya's GDP. Many people have lost their jobs, with some forced to turn to poaching.
Since the corona started on the lockdown, there is bush meeting whereby people are idle, people are jobless, they don't have food, and they end up going to the forest, doing poaching.
14 giraffes have been killed in the area this year. And since Kenya's first coronavirus case was reported, the Team Lioness Rangers have been confined to their camp, leaving the region's wildlife further exposed to threats.
And that's it for this edition. You can also connect with us via our Facebook page, that of course being France24.51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. So until our next show, bye for now.